This is Diamond Tiger Kobe Durst, and you're listening to the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Pro Wrestling Personified Podcast. I'm your host, Louis Carlin, and we are part of the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. And today we have a very special guest. Very excited to be speaking to this guy. Is an indie superstar tearing it up wherever he goes. Please help me welcome the Diamond Tiger, Kobe Durst. Kobe, welcome to the show, man.
What's up, guys?
Yo, man, I just to kick it off, and I know I was saying it just before I hit record. I've been watching some of your matches, man. Matches against Shane Saber, Brent Alexis, Ruby Riot. She was Heidi Lovelace. You are freaking awesome, man. I gotta say, you are absolutely incredible, man.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really fortunate that places like you were saying. My matches with like Heidi Lovelace and the one with Shane Saber, that was Alpha One doing Limitless Wrestling. So I've been really fortunate to be able to travel around and get to work with so many great opponents. So
yeah, man, you and we'll talk about your opponents a little later on. But just in case anybody who's not familiar with Kobe Durst, why don't you tell us a little bit about what Kobe Durst is all about?
Yeah, so I guess Kobe Durst is just he's a pretty angry little guy. So I think one of the things that throws people off is when I come out, the first thing they see is almost this like Barbie doll looking, and like I know that I look like a teenager. I get that, but when I'm in the ring, I really try to bring that intensity and never let that shake, and I think it's that intensity and that aggression that people that really brings Kobe Durst kind of makes me stand out amongst some of the others.
Okay, now I was doing some research. If I'm not mistaken, and it said that you're 22 years old. Is that correct? You're 22?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've been wrestling. You've been wrestling for a number of years, though, about 5 or 6 years. So you started really young.
That's right.
So, like, when did you decide? At what age you decide that I'm going to pursue a career in professional wrestling? Was it earlier on, or what made you decide to go after a career in professional wrestling?
No, so when I was really young, I probably watched like one wrestling match, and me and my friends started doing it, and my mom stopped that. She said that I wasn't allowed to watch it anymore. So I didn't even watch wrestling when I was growing up. I didn't know about wrestling at all. And then as I got into high school, you can't really enforce those silly rules that you had as a kid. So I started watching wrestling a little bit. So I'd say I started watching it when I was 13, and by the time I was 15, I was in a wrestling school.
Okay.
So it was kind of it sort of. I watched it and I just really liked it. And when I went to the wrestling school, I kind of picked it up just faster than most people did. And it was funny because I wasn't necessarily like an athletic person beforehand. But with wrestling, everything just kind of came naturally.
Okay, was there one wrestler that you admire that influenced you to pursue a career in wrestling, or was it one guy that you was it a Randy Savage, was it a Hulk Hogan, was it Stone Cold Steve Austin? Was there a wrestler that you admired?
My favorite wrestler was The Miz. He was.
Oh wow, good pick.
Yeah, he was my favorite wrestler. And looking back at it as a 15-year-old kid, it's not hard to imagine because at the time. He was the chick magnet. He was awesome. He was telling people to be jealous. So it's not hard for me to imagine how a 15-year-old kid watching wrestling for the first time, going through his high school struggles, could kind of want to be like that character and get kind of magnetized. I don't know, but be drawn to that character.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was been a fan of the Miz since the start. I don't know if you remember, he was on the Real World on MTV, and that's the first time I ever saw Mike
Sure.
Miznanin. And he actually
Yeah.
did the Miz character on the Real World, and when he came into the WWE, I was just a fan of his from the start, and he's tearing it up right now. So that's a good pick as a favorite wrestler. Now you said your mom said, you said your mom wouldn't let you watch wrestling. When you told her that you want to become a professional wrestler, did you have support initially, or was there resistance saying, you're wasting your time," or
No, no.
well,
When I like when I decided I wanted to do wrestling, my parents were very supportive. And the
okay,
wrestling school that I went to, I lived about 2.5, 3 hours away from it, and because I
okay.
was doing it in high school, so because I'm 15 years old, and I don't have a driver's license or anything like that. So my mom, she would actually drive me every Saturday to wrestling school, and she would sit through my 3 or 4 hours of wrestling class, and she did that every weekend for about a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, so no, they were very supportive. And then as I got older, I was able to drive myself down during the week and things like that. But that was how I got started.
Okay. Now I was reading that you were trained by, forgive me if this is incorrect, Marcus Marquez, El Fuego, and Sebastian Suave. Was that correct? You were trained by those three?
Yeah, so when I was first training, when I was 15, 16, 17, those guys were pretty instrumental in teaching me the basics, like locking up and your basic match psychology and things like that. Um, and then later on, like now lately, I've been riding around with Ethan Page, and he's been pretty instrumental in helping me out in trying to teach me just kind of the ways of the road and uh, not just wrestling, but kind of being a star and making yourself you know standing out in wrestling, trying to refine my craft.
Actually, I know Sebastian Suave, owner of Smash Wrestling, which is a terrific promotion, and I know he wrestled for them a number of times. Why did you choose those three, though? Is there a reason why you chose those three as your trainers, or?
Well, yeah. So Rob Fuego, he owned the school. And when he was there, uh, the first half, Marcus Marquez was, yeah, I think the first half he was kind of like the co-trainer, and he would help us, and he would run the drills and things like that. And then I think it was 0-1 with Japan. He went off to do that, and then while he was doing that, or one, they both ended up doing it at some point, but one of them did it first. But whenever the other one was gone, the other kind of took over. So they would help me out a lot at the beginning. So I think they were the ones who would have actually like been listed on the website. Um, so when I think of like who I initially trained with, I would think of them. But then there's like I've trained with all sorts of schools. So there was a school, Ontario Championship Wrestling Academy in Kingston, that I would train with too. And it was just a small kind of place. It was run by a guy, Harley Davison, and it was just a small place that I would go and train and roll around, and then I would also train at a place, Crossbody, which is in Kitchener, and that's run by
Okay.
Notorious TID and Ben Ortman, and so that's just like a place up here in Ontario. So really, any place that I can go to get ring time, or any people that I think I can really learn from. So right now, I'm really trying to benefit from the tutelage of Ethan Page, and trying to grow with Alpha One by getting all these higher class opponents, because that's the only way that I think you can really get better, is by traveling around and performing in front of these live audiences week in and week out. That's the main thing.
Now you said you took to the initial training pretty quickly. So I guess when you took your first bump, did you realize did you think, oh, this is going to be harder than I thought, or did you say, oh, this is going to be a breeze? So what was it like taking your
Yeah,
first bump, and what was your initial thought?
my first bump was fine. I took it and I just got up. Honestly, to me I thought it was going to hurt a little bit more. Because I went in,
Okay.
I had no idea like what a ring was like, and the only thing I'd ever landed on was like grass. So I didn't know what it'd be like, and it was pretty stiff. But as you can see with my style, the bumping and the different the flips and tricks and taking those big moves, it's not I'm not gonna say it doesn't affect me the same way, but I don't shy away from them quite as much.
Okay. Yeah, because I know you have that intense style, and we're gonna get to that shortly. But like, how long did it take? Um, how long did it? How long? How much training did you go through until you decided that you know what, I'm ready to step into the ring for the first time, and I'm to have my first match? Or how long did it take for you to get that first match?
My first match, I had it after 8 months of training, so I was 16 when I had it. Now the problem with being 16 when you have your first match is it's hard to get people to book you when you're 16 because if you think that I look like I'm 16 right now, you can imagine what I look like back then. Um, so when I when I was first getting started, I barely get any bookings anywhere, like because not because I was a bad wrestler, just because people were hesitant to give me a shot. But once I showed up at a couple of shows, like 10 or 15 times, or if I traveled like really far away and then said like, hey, I'm just here to help out, people would give me a shot, and then I'd start to grow. And when I first started wrestling, I wrestled as Marty Michaels, which was kind of a funny gimmick that I did. It was like a cross between Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, and
Okay.
that was just something that one company gave me, and people started to book me as it. I wasn't particularly fond of it, so that's why I kind of stopped it quickly. But that's what I was doing when I was a teenager. And
Okay.
then eventually I developed into Kobe Durst, and the aggressive style, I'd say, has only really taken on over the last like 2 years.
Okay, so which promotion was it that gave you the your first opportunity to step into the ring?
My first opportunity,
Yeah.
um, that would be Squared Circle Wrestling.
Okay.
So that was just like my training school. They gave me the opportunity. And then the first place that would book me regularly was Ontario Championship Wrestling, which was in Kingston. And that
Okay.
was the place that I had said that I would train at occasionally too. And it was cool because they would draw like maybe like 50 or 80 people, and they would run monthly shows. So it gave me a lot of experience when I was 16 years old in front of an audience. So I got a lot of the opportunity to kind of try out some of the to experiment with the audience and then play around, see what works, what doesn't work.
Sure.
Hmm.
Okay, so you got your first match. You told all right, you're having your first match tonight. You're behind the ring curtain. You're behind the backstage curtain. They say you're up next. You're about to hit the ring. What's going through your mind right now? Are you a butterflies flying through your stomach right now? Are you nervous as hell? What exactly are you thinking when you're about to hit the ring for the first time ever?
Yeah,
Nerves
I was
must
pretty nervous. The reason that they put me on the show was because it was actually in my hometown. So I grew up in a little town called Madoc, Ontario. And
okay.
it doesn't it's maybe about 5,000 people. So they went there and they put on this show, and because I was from there, they decided that was where I was going to do my debut. And they put me into a tag team match, and it was me and Brent Banks versus John Greed and Boris. I think at the time he was Boris Brezhnev. I think he wrestles as Beta. Um, Maybach Beta. That's what he wrestles as now. Maybach Beta.
Okay.
Um, but anyway, so it was a tag team match, and if you watch it back now, you have to look up my real name, Adam Durst, but because that I didn't even have a wrestling name when I did it. But I think it's on YouTube, and you'll see the match wasn't bad. It was an okay match. But you'll see that the entire match was designed to kind of give me the easy spots that would make me look good, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I was really kind of happy about that. That I was able to like at the time I didn't realize it. At the time I'm just going in, I'm wrestling, I'm nervous, but looking back, everybody really took care of me and made sure that I looked really cool in my hometown. So I was really happy about that.
Cool. No, I'll definitely look it up. So, yeah. So you said it's under Adam Durst on YouTube. We could find that first match on
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah, I didn't even upload it. It was just someone from my high school uploaded it. But
Okay.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
but I think it's
definitely.
still up there.
All
Yeah.
right, now definitely
Huh.
check it out, man. I'll definitely check it out, man.
Yeah.
Um, so how did you come up with the nickname, the Diamond Tiger, which is a great nickname, by the way? I was just wondering how'd you come up with that
Thanks.
nickname?
Oh, there is a guy in Ontario. His name's Jeff Smith, and his wrestling moniker was Kyle Davenport, and I guess back in I guess probably 2005, 2006, he would edit wrestling DVDs for different companies like Ontario promotions in the area, and he would do it under a moniker Diamond Tiger Entertainment, and that was his video editing name, and Kyle Davenport, he had a tendency, he would always manage these kind of pretty young guys, um, and people would give him a hard time because not that there's anything wrong with being gay, but some of the more immature, I guess, people would give him a hard time about that, even though I don't think he is. Um, but yeah, anyways, they would kind of give us a hard time and say that we were together and say that he was my
Okay.
boyfriend. And I think it was Joey Kings on the Alpha One commentary said it as kind of a joke. Like he called me the Diamond Tiger, just like kidding. And I didn't even know that Diamond Tiger was I didn't realize that Kyle Davenport had any association with it. I just kind of thought it was cool. To me, it was diamond in the rough with the eye of the tiger. That's what it was to me.
Okay.
And then I ended up finding out all this other stuff and the association, and I found out that he was actually ribbing me later on. But that was where it comes from.
Okay, cool, man, cool. So, how I know you have this really intense style now, really intense, stiff, hard-hitting style. How long did it take for you? Well, I think you had mentioned a little earlier that you didn't start that style up until about 2 years ago. So,
Yeah.
what made you want to develop that style, that intense style?
So I
Why
think
did you want to go that route?
what really made it click with me, I think, was I had a match. Alpha One had almost like a trial show for some of the younger talent that they wanted to test out. They called it Beta Pro. Um, so what they did was they took young guys like me and they pitted them against some of the more established guys on the Alpha One roster. And I had a match with Josh Alexander. And in the match, he kind of he kicked the crap out of me. Not he didn't take advantage of me really or anything. He just he sort of taught me that if I don't lay in my stuff, if I don't act like a man, if I don't portray that persona in the ring, that nobody's going to take me seriously, and it just isn't going to work for me. So after that match, I really kind of went, and I actually went to the Crossbody Training Academy, and I started working on my strikes a lot. Um, and I actually ended up kind of making them a little bit too stiff. So I'm glad that I've kind of learned to balance that out. But it was from that match, I think, that I kind of grew as a wrestler and developed that more aggressive style. And then with that, just kind of as I would get in kind of better shape and things like that, I was able to kind of be more aggressive and more assertive in the ring.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, I was watching a match against Shane Saber, and you hit him with a forearm shot that I think I felt through the computer. Do
Sure.
you ever have? I mean, it was just intense, stiff shot. And do you ever have any wrestlers saying, "Hey, Kobe, take it easy. You hit me too, you're hitting me too hard," because those shots seem really, really stiff and really, really hard. Uh, just wondering, any wrestlers ever say, "Hey, take it easy, man. You hit me too hard."
Yeah, I've had some incidences. So one was
Okay.
with Shane Saber. I gave him a forearm. Not in that match. It was in an Alpha One match here in Oshawa.
Sure.
And one of his, he had like a cavity or like a filling in his
Oh
tooth,
no.
and it came right out. I
Oh
knocked it right
gosh.
out. Yeah, so that was one incident. And then I had another incident. This was it was actually a little bit over a year ago. This happened. I had a match with a wrestler, Luke Lawson, and it was a three-way
Okay.
match, and we did a chase spot, and he hit the ropes, and I came in and I hit him, and his jaw broke. I ended up breaking his jaw with the forearm. And I've never actually seen the footage or anything like that, and I drove him to the hospital and things like that. Like it's a contact sport, and you have to like things like that happen. But I felt just terrible about it. So things like that kind
Yeah.
of make you realize that you have to work on your things and make sure that you're safe and you're always, taking care of your people, to make sure that, incidences and things like that don't happen.
Yeah, and I know you've been involved in a few intergender matches as well. With we mentioned Heidi Lovelace, also known as Ruby Riot now in NXT. The Mountain Vanessa Craven you went up against. Do you tone it back a little bit because it's you don't want to hurt them, because I know you have that intense style. Like how do you prepare for you must prepare differently for an intergender match than a regular match.
You know what? The crazy thing is, I didn't tone it back at all. If you watch like me and Heidi wrestle, like because
Yeah.
I think Alpha One put our first match, that me and Heidi had at One Crazy Night, and this was, so I think it would have been 2 years ago. We had our very first match. It was just a normal match, and it was funny because the ring, the bottom rope broke right before it, so it only has the two ropes. But I think it's on the Alpha One YouTube page for free. And if you watch that match, I really didn't let up at all. So I really brought it to her the entire time. And if you watch our other matches, we did a spot where I did the Sabu chair throw at her, and she was on the top rope, and I guess she was losing her balance, so she couldn't get her hand up, and it busted her open. The lip of the chair like
Oh.
kind of got her,
Oh.
or just not the lip because it was the other way, but just the edge of it got the top of her head, and it busted her right open. And I walk over and I grab her because I don't realize that she's busted open because it's right on the top of her head, and she has dark hair. And I
Sure.
grab her and I accidentally open her cut right up because I grabbed the top of her head. So
Oh man.
yeah, so and I mean Heidi's amazing, or Ruby's just an amazing talent and fantastic to work with. And working with Vanessa was crazy because she's way bigger than I am.
Yeah,
So
she's like
she was,
6 feet, about 6 feet tall, I think.
yeah. So she was
Yeah.
manhandling me like way more, and I think that I took a probably much more of a beating than she did. And with my matches with Heidi, some of the bumps and some of the bruises that she ended up taking was just phenomenal. So there were some pretty cool wars with her.
Yeah, no, great stuff, man. Yeah, actually, I did. I was watching before you called in. I was watching some of the match with Heidi Lovelace. I was wondering what happened to the bottom rope, but glad you explained that the bottom rope broke. You said during the prior match, popped off.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was just wondering. I thought maybe it was just I thought maybe it's a new new style of ring that you guys were using, but I'm glad you explained that to me. And
yeah.
Vanessa Craven, I was just wondering, did she hit you with one of her cannonballs? Because those are pretty intense. Corner cannonballs.
Yeah, no, she didn't,
Oh,
because
okay,
I
okay,
think that would have
good,
ended it. I think that would have ended the
good. I'm
match.
glad you didn't have to go through one of those, because I've seen her do
Yeah,
that. And that's pretty damn intense, man.
Yeah.
So you've had great success with a lot of promotions, but I think it's fair to say you've had more success with Alpha One Wrestling than other promotions. Forgive me if I'm wrong there, but I was looking over
Yeah,
your
I would say they're kind of like my home base.
yeah. I mean, you've had the Alpha Male title for quite some time. I think you recently lost it,
Yep.
if I'm not mistaken. And so, tell me about your time at Alpha One. Uh, have you learned much from there? I think you debuted there in 2015 until today. So, yeah, tell me a little bit about your time at Alpha One.
Yeah. So Alpha One brought me in, and they just kind of gave me a shot. They put me in a program with Easy Eric Kearney, and me and him had a Falls Count Anywhere match, and I think it was probably my first real crazy match. We had like some cool like kendo stick spots, and we ended up being able to like use a ladder and things like that. So just coming in hot out and just having that crazy match really put me in line to have all these cool things. So then with Alpha One, I won the Zero Gravity championship first. So I was able to run around and do that.
Okay.
And with the Zero Gravity Championship, that's kind of like almost like their X division. So, more of an intense style and more of a high flying, high risk style. And I actually I won that from Ricky Shane Page
Okay.
in a triple threat match. It was me, him, and Tyler Thomas. And during that match, I ended up getting a pretty bad concussion. But I ended up like finishing the match. Everything was okay. But and I think when that happened, the fans sort of started seeing me in a different light. They started seeing me as this sort of risk taker, this aggressive, almost heelish character. And then when me and Heidi started having those matches, and like I said, I didn't let up at all, and I think people really saw that I wasn't letting up. So it's very hard to get behind somebody who's able to be that aggressive with a girl. So it was really cool to be able to have those and to be able to beat her for the Alpha Male title. And then during my year with the Alpha Male title, just being able to work, work guys like Eddie Kingston, Joey Janela, Michael Elgin, ACH, Josh Alexander, all these different opponents that are just phenomenal wrestlers. And with each opponent that you're able to face, and then being able to take it, the titles around and defend them for Beyond Wrestling and defend it at Limitless Wrestling. So for me, I'm very thankful to Alpha One for that, and I'm looking forward to what 2018 has in store.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I was gonna ask you. I mean, you mentioned a number of top talents that you've competed against in Alpha One. In addition, Brent Banks, Sebastian Suave, Colt Cabana, Shane Saber, Matt Angel. Is there one opponent that you've gone up against that you would say that's my favorite opponent? And if so, why would you say that?
I would say that the opponent that I learned the most from, it's tough because I did Michael Elgin, the Michael Elgin training system, like his camp about a year ago. So I went and I stayed at his house for a week and did his did some drills with him and kind of learned from that. So having that match was very cool. And then, like I had said, having those matches with Josh before Alpha One, and then getting to have one-on-one with him this year, that was a very cool experience. So yeah, I would say those two are probably in my top.
Okay.
And then I mean, obviously, getting to work with like names like Colt Cabana. But like that was a very cool time because we actually I had a match with Colt Cabana in Chicago, and it was a 6-man tag, and he didn't like me as much. So being able to have a match with him here and have a lot of fun, that was nice.
So you're saying Colt Cabana didn't like you at first, is what you said, or?
No, yeah. What ended up
Okay.
happening was he asked a question. Essentially, nobody said anything for a long time, and I gave an answer. But the answer that I gave was just a very general, basic answer, and
Okay.
he kind of ribbed on me he kind of ribbed on me and
Okay.
thought that I was a little bit slow.
Okay. You
Yeah.
should have got off. You should have hit him with a stiff forearm.
Yeah. Oh,
If,
geez. I don't think that's something I want to do. Not.
no, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No. No more stiff forearms.
Well, we just talked about favorite opponents. Do you have any dream opponents? Maybe the Miz one day, but who do you
Yeah. I
have?
mean,
Go ahead. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Working the Miz one day, that'd be crazy. I think for me, I'd really want to work with Mike Bailey. He's somebody I'd really want to work with. Um, I guess for me, I'm trying to probably keep it to the indie scene. I'd want to work. I think me and Keith Lee would be a really fun match. I think that I've really been trying to find a chance to work with Kurt Stallion. Um,
Okay.
I think if Alpha One would be able to give me a shot at Cody Rhodes, that would be just incredible.
No,
There's
it's funny. It's funny that you say Speedball Mike Bailey because I was just thinking before we went on when I'm watching your matches. I was thinking, I wonder if Kobe Durst ever took on Speedball Mike Bailey because that would be a
no,
tremendous match. But you said I think the two of you get together. It's got 5-star classic written all over it. If you went up against Mike Bailey, and it'll happen one day for sure. But I was just
yeah.
thinking that
So
before I came on.
yeah, so that one's one that I've personally wanted for a while, especially because him being here in Canada, it's something that should be able to happen.
So Impact Wrestling is they moved their head offices up here to Toronto, Canada. I'm up here in Toronto. I know you're in Ontario. I'm here in Newmarket, Ontario. So we're almost neighbors actually.
Sure.
But with them being in Canada now, and I know a lot of opportunity has opened up for Canadian wrestlers. We've seen Tyson Duke there, Marcus Burke, Chip Chambers from Atlantic Canada was on as a security guard.
Oh, Chip
Do you
Chambers
think
was? Oh, cool.
Chip Chambers was a security guard. He wasn't in the
Oh,
wrestling,
cool.
but he was a security guard. Do you have Impact Wrestling on your mind? You want to go down there and maybe show Don Callis and Scott D'Amore what you can do?
Yeah, man. I so pretty much I'm not one to turn my nose up at any wrestling promotion, especially one as big as Impact Wrestling. So that's definitely something that I'd be looking to do. But unfortunately, I'm not able to like predict anything or even
Okay,
say for certain
sure.
if anything's going to happen.
Okay, I'll predict. I'll predict if you don't mind.
Sure.
Can I?
Yeah.
I think you'll be fantastic in the X division without a doubt, man. And I predict if I'm sure they've watched a few Kobe Durst matches and I think you'll be phenomenal in Impact Wrestling right now and I think you'll get there, man. I think if Scott D'Amore and Don Callis see a couple of your matches, they will want you right away. And I predict you're going to be there, man. So I'm going to make the
Well,
prediction for
thank
you.
you.
I'm predicting you're going to be in Impact Wrestling. You, like I said, you'll be fantastic in the X division, man. You against Trevor Lee, I think will be absolutely phenomenal, man.
That would be a very crazy match. I was watching I was watching some of the old PWG tapes, and I was watching some of Trevor Lee stuff. I was actually watching Trevor Lee versus Mike Bailey, and it was just some crazy stuff. So that would be a match that I definitely want to see.
Yeah, man. Me too. Me too. I'm going to try to get a hold of of Don Callis and Scott D'Amore after we're done, and I'm gonna plug Kobe Durst for you, man.
Oh, thank
I'll
you
let
so
them know.
much.
I don't know how to get a hold of him, but I'll try, man. I'll
Sure.
try anyway. I'll try anyway, man. All right. So what's the ultimate goal? Actually, no. Actually, before that, I want to ask you. I know you had a match with a very unorthodox wrestler. Just want to know what it was like being in the ring with Space Monkey. Because I know he's very unorthodox. But what was it like being in the ring with him?
Yeah, well, I mean, Space Monkey's interesting because his English is a little bit broken up. He doesn't speak it the best. Um, so when you're wrestling him, he's not necessarily as focused also because he's always eating bananas.
Yeah, he's always with
Um,
his banana.
yeah, so he's not necessarily, and I don't even think, because for me, I got like I was in wrestling school like in high school, but for him like he took the time to go and become an astronaut before he was a wrestler. And so I don't even know if wrestling's really his ultimate goal or if he's just trying to get back to space or what he's trying to
Uh-huh.
do.
Okay.
So he's a pretty nuts guy. But as a performer, I would say really fun to work with. And very very trusting with his body, and it's very very easy, very like fun. He'll just have fun matches, and if you wanna do your cool stuff, if you wanna have your if I wanna have my crazy Kobe Durst matches, like he'll play ball with me. But it's always fun to work with Space Monkey.
Gotta watch out for that tail, man. That's all. That the
Yeah,
hit you with that tail, that's gonna hurt, man.
yeah, and the thing is I don't even think that he put something in the end of it, like a bowling ball or something, because it's pretty stiff, that tail.
Yeah, it's not as stiff as a Kobe Durst forearm smash to the face. That's for sure.
It's sometimes sometimes it can be a pretty stiff tail.
A pretty stiff tail shot. So promos. Actually, I was watching you cut a few promos. Actually, you do a very good job cutting promos as well. So how do you come up with your promos? Do they just come to you, or do you write them out beforehand, or how do you come up with a good promo?
No, I think that so when I was like in school, they teach you public speaking, and one thing they tell you is to just know your topic and just be really knowledgeable about it and to be confident about it. So before I cut a promo, what I try to do, so you'll notice I don't do this in real conversation. Like I stutter and I don't know exactly what I'm saying. When I start a sentence, I don't necessarily know where I'm going with it when I speak. When
Okay.
I'm cutting a promo, before I go out, I think about the topic, I think about what I need to say, I think about all the points, and I think about where Kobe Durst is coming from and what his point of view is and what it needs to be. And then I think about the points that I need to convey. So like, why am I out there speaking to people? Because a lot of people will just pick up the microphone and they'll talk just because they want to talk or because they think that people want to hear them talk. And I know that wrestling shows are really long, and some people might even argue that they're too long. So when I when I get on the microphone, I really want to just get my point across and kind of get out without boring people too much. But at the same time, with a character like Kobe Durst, I really, especially in 2018, I want to try to bring a little bit more character and a little bit more life into him. So would I hope that I get some more opportunities to do some promos because I think that I can really help kind of give them a little bit more dimension.
All right. Okay. So what's the ultimate goal? What's the ultimate goal for you? Do you want to get to WWE? Do you want to get to New Japan? What's the ultimate goal?
So for me, I just want to be able to make a living at wrestling. So I just don't want to have another job. So I guess there's no real company or like obviously I guess I want WWE would be my number one if you just gave me like a genie in a bottle and said,
Okay.
"Hey, where do you want to go?" WWE is where I'd like to go. Um
Okay.
but for me, my own goal is to just be able to make a living at wrestling, whether I'm in WWE, whether I'm doing TNA. I think I think that personally, I would have a hard time living in Japan.
Okay.
Like, I think just as like on a personal level, as a person, I think I would have a hard time being in Japan for like a month.
Okay.
But I'm certain that if Japan was like, hey, Kobe, we want you for a month, I'm sure that I'd probably go. So,
Yeah, I'm sure you go.
yeah, I'm pretty sure I'd go. So,
Yeah,
so
of course you
really,
go. Of course you go.
yeah, really, like I'm not going to turn them down.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, but I ideally I would like to be able to make a living here at home, uh, just off wrestling. And by make a living, I don't mean do like I don't mean have to wrestle like necessarily do these long tours and things like that. I mean Monday or like wrestling shows are usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So for me right now, I'd like to be able to make enough money Friday, Saturday, Sunday to support me throughout the week.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
If you do go to New Japan and you need someone to go with you, I'd be happy to go with you for a month to Japan. So,
Yeah.
um,
Oh, geez, thanks.
okay. No, I'm just
I mean,
kidding. I'm just
honestly,
kidding.
no, honestly, I'd probably be like, I'd probably go stir crazy. I don't know, like, do they have a lot of guys that, like, I don't know. I guess I don't really know a whole lot about their housing situations or anything up there.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure like you said, I'm sure if the opportunity arises, I'm sure you'll figure it all out when you get out there.
Yeah.
Um, so, so you mentioned 2018 a few times. So what do you think 2018 is going to bring for you? Where would you like to be at the end of 2018 is what I should say. I know you said you want to
Well,
like to make a living, but I'm sorry, go ahead.
so I guess so. 2017 like started off on a little bit of a hard note. So like January 7th last year, I dislocated my pinky, which I know it doesn't sound like anything, but if you've ever dislocated your pinky before and you like you tear up your tendons, it's pretty crappy, and I've only just been able to fully bend it like in the last month. Um,
Okay.
so when that happened, the problem was I couldn't really pick up any weights at the gym. So that was sort of a hard time. And then like the very next month, I was in a match and somebody like I got a boot to the to like my upper lip and my tooth punctured my lip. So
Oh
I had
no.
this like giant hole in my face. And I was in Chicago at the time, and as a Canadian, I'm not trying to go to their hospital. So Ricky Shane Page just kind of glued me up in a gas station and sent me on my way. And he did a fantastic job. My lip looks fantastic. Um, but so while I had that for about 2-3 weeks, I couldn't get my heart rate up because that would open up my lip. So I guess 2017 started off on a little bit of a hard note on my body, which they're not really like big injuries, but they just kind of sucked. So I just kind of kept on wrestling through them. But right now I feel like really good, like everything feels good. So I've been hitting the gym pretty hard, and then having the C4 titles. I just wrestled for IWC, freelance. I just had 2 matches at freelance. Um, and one of them being for their championships. So that was really cool to do. And then with me having just lost the Alpha Male championship at Alpha One, it's going to be really cool to see where I'm going with that. And then I've been doing LDDC up in Montreal, so I'm excited to be back there in March. So there's a lot of different places. Like Black Label Pro's been using me lately. They just started up, and I think I'll be one of the only wrestler, or they said that I'll be the only wrestler who's been on every show. So all these different companies are giving me these cool opportunities. And then there's things like Proving Ground Wrestling up in Illinois. So all these different places
Okay.
are giving me these really cool opportunities. So 2018 is looking like it's going to be really fun.
Any chance we're going to see you back in Smash Wrestling? I know you took on Matt Angel in the Proving Ground show, but one of my favorite promotions. Would love to see you back there. Any chance you might be coming back?
You know what?
Uh,
I'd never say no to Smash.
okay.
I think it's they just Smash just has to get sold on Kobe. And one thing that I've been doing, Sebastian, I've been really hitting the gym. And I just bought like some new tanning oils because I work at a gym, like I'm a personal trainer, like in my shoot job. So I'm a Good Life personal trainer. So I have access to all these like tanning beds and things like that. So there's no reason that I need to be pale. I kind of like being pale because I think that in a weird way, I think that looking having almost like an unkempt look is kind of funny as a bad guy. But at the same time, I know that if I'm trying to wrestle on TV and things like that, I should really try to tone up and tan up. So that's what I've been doing, and I think
Okay.
that people will really notice that in the coming months.
I just want to make a correction, just in case Sebastian happens to be listening. I call it the Proving Ground match. It was actually from the ground up. Proving Ground, I think, is a Ring of Honor. But I just wanted to correct that there. And yeah, Sebastian, please, if you're listening, get Kobe Durst back on the show, man. I want to see him back in Smash Wrestling. I'd love to see him actually because as you know, they got the Fight Network. They got their TV show. Would love to see you back in Smash Wrestling.
Sure.
Great promotion. Great talent there.
And I know that because Smash has a lot of guys that are trying to get on, and I know different guys are always sending Sebastian their tapes and things like that. And I know that at the end of the day, Smash Wrestling said they know that I'm a good wrestler. They use me on their on other shows, on some of their smaller shows and things like that from the ground up. And I'm certain that I'll be back on Smash, but I would love to be able to come to Smash and perform on some of their big shows. But one thing I would say is that when I do come to Smash and perform on their big shows, I would like to come in a big way.
Okay, there you go. There you go. So, but yeah, I think you're tremendous right now, man. I don't. We say you want to come back in a big way. I mean, I like I said, I said in the beginning, I've been watching your matches. You would definitely come back in a big way. I mean, you're incredible young talent, and I think you're a future superstar, and you're going to go a long way in the world of professional wrestling, without a doubt, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, man. So before we wrap this up, do you have anything you want to plug? Any Twitter, Facebook, any T-shirts you might be selling? Any shows coming
Sure.
up? Go ahead, plug away, man.
Yeah, I mean my Twitter and Instagram are both at Kobe Durst, all lowercase.
Okay.
And on Facebook, if you have enough mutual friends with me and you hit add, I'll probably accept you. So
Okay.
you can get me on there, or you can like the page. I have a Facebook page, Diamond Tiger Kobe Durst, that always like shares my stuff and things like that. So that's good. Hang on, let me get a little list.
Hey, go take your list, man. Get your list, man. It's okay.
Yeah. Let's see. So we got Freelance coming up January 12th. Black Label, I believe, is January 13th. C4 Wrestling, January 20th. Alpha One, January 21st. We got Crossbody Wrestling coming up February 17th. LDDC, March 2nd. All these different places. Actually, I don't even know if I should be listing them. Well, yeah, I think I'm announced at the places that I've listed. But just in case
Okay.
I'm not supposed to be announced, I won't go any further.
Okay, no, that's cool. That's cool. So you mentioned Alpha One, January 21st. Is that going to be back in Oshawa? Do you know? Will that be in Oshawa?
January 21st. I know they're doing one that's February 3rd, and I think that one is in Oshawa.
Okay.
But I think January 21st, I think that one's in Hamilton.
Hamlet. Okay, well, February 3rd in Oshawa, and I'm gonna go ahead and attend that one then, because that's like an hour drive from my house. So I'll
Yeah,
keep an
no,
eye on that. Definitely February
if
3rd.
you go to that one, I won't say what I'm doing on the show just because I'm not sure if it's a surprise and I don't think it's now.
No, that's okay. Yeah, no, you don't
But
have to. That's fine. That's fine.
I'll tell you after because that one's gonna be nuts.
That one's gonna be nuts. Okay, then I'm gonna. And you promise when I get there, I could get a selfie with you, right? Me and you can get a selfie. I can
Yeah,
take a picture with
absolutely.
Kobe Durst. Okay.
One thing I'll say, like if any fans are listening, I think people sometimes give me a little bit of flack because I don't sell a lot of 8 by, like I really don't sell 8x10s, and I really don't sell T-shirts.
Okay.
I have them.
Okay.
It's not that I don't have them. I have them. I just don't really set it up at the merch table. And here's kind of my theory on it. As you can tell, kind of talking to me, I'm not Kobe Durst necessarily. Like Kobe Durst is I have him in. I have a vision of what he is, and when I'm in the ring, I'm him. But I find when I'm at a merch table or things like that, that and this will sound weird, I feel almost like human. Like I feel almost like a person. Whereas when I'm in a ring, I feel like more of a presence, more of a stardom. So I really try to like stay hidden almost during like intermissions or like
Okay.
when I come to shows. And when I do come out, like I'm usually dressed up in my civilian clothes, and fans will like walk right by me and have no clue that it's me.
Okay.
So so I'm always there. You just have to really kind of look.
Okay. Okay. No,
Yeah,
I'm sure what I'll do is when I get
yeah.
there,
But if you stick
I'll
around after the show, I'm always like there.
okay. Yeah. No, definitely. I'll be there February 3rd in
Yeah,
Oshawa. I'll come out and see you
yeah.
guys. But anything else? Anything else on your mind, or you want to talk about, or
I think that's
I think
mainly
I
my
think we
stuff.
covered
Is
everything.
there anything? Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, I just want to say thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. And I really mean it when I say, man, you're talented. You're going to make it. I wouldn't be surprised if we see you in Impact Wrestling or Ring of Honor, before 2018 is up. But I just want to say, keep doing what you're doing. Good luck, man. And just, look forward to seeing you in one of the major promotions, very soon.
wow, thank you so much. And you know, I would hope to see me in something huge like that in 2018 too. Just that would be incredible.
All right, man. All right. And we will, man. Just, it's going to happen. Uh, trust me, man. Trust me. I really believe it's going to happen, man. And I'm not just saying that because I'm talking to you, but, your matches have really, I don't know, like I said, the Shane, if anyone's listening right now and you want to know what I'm talking about, go to YouTube and type in Kobe Durst versus Shaver and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, again, thank you so much for coming on the show. Anytime you want to come back, just let me know, and you're always welcome here, Kobe.
Yeah, anytime. Thank you.
Hey, my pleasure, man. My pleasure. Well, this has been the Pro Wrestling Personified podcast for the Tap Out Wrestling Podcast Network. I'm Lewis Carlin. Again, I want to thank my guest, Kobe Durst. Until next time, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye and stay safe, everybody. So long.